Hi there, I'm Teresa Maron, and I'm the Learn To Queen. The niche and passion of my expertise is creating conscious content in the self-help and personal development fields, because I truly believe that conscious content creation by people like you is changing the world. Join me and my guest expert collaboration partners for an inside look at the problem-solving industry. We want to help you so that you can help others. Hi there, and welcome to Learn to Podcast for Profit. I'm your host, Teresa Maron, and I'm a content marketing expert with Podcasting by Professionals. Now, have you thought about starting a podcast of your very own for fun and for profit? Well, if you have, then you're in the right place, because we want to encourage you to consider starting your own show in 2015. Now, we want to encourage you, especially if you're a coach, a teacher, or an author, because this really might be the right thing for you. And if you have the ambition, the dedication, the passion, and if you're thinking long-term of taking it to the next level, then that magic word is syndication, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later. Now, my special guest today is Keith Rupnick of RadioLinx Broadcast Marketing, and he is the distribution and syndication expert for Podcasting by Professionals, and that was his very professional voice that you heard in the intro here. So I want you to join us for some real behind-the-scenes insider info in the podcasting industry, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to get started with some action steps on how to use your very own podcast as a business tool if you're an author, a teacher, or a coach. But first, join me in welcoming my guest star, Keith Rupnick. Hello, Keith.
Hi, Teresa. Very nice to be here, and this is a great time to be talking about podcasting, because there's certainly a lot going on with it in a lot of different levels, and I'm excited to chat about it.
Yes, me too. Do you think podcasting is here to stay?
It is, and it's become big business in many places.
Yeah, well, it certainly is. And, you know, coaches, teachers, and authors all have a similar goal, and that's why we're steering our show to them today, because they all are working very hard, very diligently to become an expert. And podcasting is a great way to create that regular environment for prospects to find them, then to connect with them, and then to take that next natural step forward, which is a one-on-one or a program with them. So do you agree, Keith, that podcasting is a good fit for coaches, teachers, and authors and this business model?
I do. And if you think about maybe some of the earlier ways that entrepreneurs and local business owners would work to establish themselves as an expert in the community, they might have written articles for a local newspaper or appeared in the form of a guest on a local radio show. They might have written editorials, anything that would have given them that extra visibility and helped to establish their voice as being an expert in their field. With podcasting, all of that rises to a whole new level, because now you can be the star of your own radio program, your own podcast, and go into very, very great detail and in-depth of all of the different aspects of your area of expertise that you want to share with current customers of yours or potential new customers, and in so doing, really establish yourself as that expert, that credible source, that go-to person when somebody has a need in your area. Hopefully they'll think of you first.
Absolutely. And, you know, let's just talk about like that one-on-one experience. I have a lot of clients that come to me for content marketing in various mediums. And they all feel great working one-on-one. They're getting comfortable writing ebooks. But oddly enough, I hear this over and over, they're very intimidated by speaking, air quotations, on the air. So, do you have any advice for them?
Well, you don't have to be a great on-air talent in order to, have your own podcast. Certainly it helps, but if you will kind of look around and listen around to some of the work that is being done, not only in other podcasts, but in other on-air presentations and broadcasts. It's not uncommon to turn on a radio station or an NPR affiliate and hear somebody that you might say they don't have that spit shine pizzazz sound either from a voice quality or from a presentation or a production value, but it doesn't matter because what they bring to the table and what they have to say far surpasses any need to have all of that, that polish. And again, it helps. It helps to keep the listener entertained and stimulated, but don't let that be a stopping point for you because you're going to be judged on the quality of the information that you're delivering first and foremost.
Yes, I think you're right. And you can always improve. You can start in one place and improve with professional instruction, or you can also improve simply by experience. We all start somewhere and then, we evolve, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So I have one more question for you. Authors teach, teachers coach, coaches write. But what kind of important content that you were saying, content is king, do individuals in these fields, what do they really need to consider for their own podcast?
Well, I think they want to put themselves in the listener's chair and kind of imagine and ask themselves if they were interested in their particular product or their area of expertise, what are the things that person would want to know about? And then maybe make a list of all of those things and then create a podcast that touches on each and every single one of them. And resist the temptation to be an infomercial. A lot of the weekend radio shows that you hear on the radio, you can tell the difference between somebody who is trying to push a particular vitamin or push a particular product versus the approach where someone says, I'm an expert in my field, I'm going to help answer some questions, and in so doing, I raise to the top in your mind as far as the level of expertise so that when it comes time for you to need something like this, you're going to call me. You don't have to be a super salesperson in this particular podcast, and as a matter of fact, you probably shouldn't be. Resist that temptation to be an infomercial. Be credible, be informative, but do so in an entertaining way.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, Keith. That was a really good point. And, there's a couple of things that I call them game changers that I want to talk about. And at Podcasting by Professionals, the team there is really committed to these three game changers when it comes to mentoring coaches, teachers, and the authors out there. And I want to go ahead and add, the self-help and personal development people, because a lot of them are listening to the show tonight. And these three game changers are what I want you all to be thinking about when you're considering your marketing strategy for 2015. If you start a podcast right now, you have the potential to grow your professional reach in the fastest way possible by using these three game changers. First of all, you've taken the time and the effort to become an expert. So use this game changer to stay one. All right? You've written a book. You've got your curriculum together. You've developed a program that sets you up as an expert. Using a podcast will keep you in that position with a regular destination for your people to find you, to listen to you, to get updates on you, that's convenient for them. All right. Now, Keith's going to talk about this a little bit more later, but this is really important that they can get to you when they want to. Now, the second one is that you build a loyal, dedicated, and engaged audience. Now, when you're ready to launch another book, another class, another program, or even a live event, you already will have this tribe that's interested in your point of view. And this is dependent very, very much on expert marketing strategies that are podcast specific. You also stand out as a perfect collaboration partner. When other successful entrepreneurs look for people to partner with, having a radio show or a podcast is a big part of the picture. I mean, of any collaboration effort. Think about it. If you're really trying to get the word out there in a JV, a collective marketing strategy, a collaboration effort, the person that has the radio show is going to be perceived as being very valuable. So these three game changers is what it's all about at Podcasting by Professionals to give to you as tools for you to use for your marketing strategy for 2015. Now, Keith, I am not an industry expert. I've had a podcast for four and a half years, but you are the industry expert. And I have a couple of questions about, there's huge changes going on in this industry, right?
Yes, there are. Yes, there are. And I think, probably one of the biggest changes that has made it so exciting is that there's so many more places now to place your podcast, to have your podcast become available to others, that your areas of distribution have grown, and along with that, your audience. It used to be in the earlier days that you had a podcast and maybe you had to share it and give it to people on a CD or ask them to go to your website in order to download it. Today, there are so many places to put that podcast, an internet radio station, your own website, of course. There are a lot of different podcast aggregators on the internet where podcasts can be heard. And there's also the digital delivery, smartphones and the iPads. So there are so many different places for somebody to hear a podcast now that it not only is good for the distribution of your content, but the more that it becomes commonplace, it's become a standard.
I believe that is exactly it. You almost have to have a podcast now. And the thing is, some people are very intimidated just to get started, but we're going to help out with that. But I was just wondering, before we get to that, Keith, what do you think is the most exciting new development in this industry for 2015?
Well, it's really the connected car, with so many auto manufacturers now putting in the dashboard internet radio, AM, FM radio, plug-in capabilities of your smartphones, and most of the new models now have plug-in capabilities for smartphones and pads, but the connected dash will take it to a whole new level. You won't need to plug in your iPhone and then kind of look for something that you want to listen to. You'll be able to, on your dashboard, be able to go to an internet website and listen to a particular podcast, be it the internet radio station, somebody's individual website, or an aggregator. So that, once it gets into the car in that real easy to find side by side next to an AM or an FM radio, and the satellite radios will be there too. It's leveled that playing field. You're right there, easily found in the same places where all of those other major medias are currently.
That is very exciting. That I mean, did you see that coming?
Along with Al Gore, I helped develop the internet. I don't know that I saw it coming. I think it's a learning curve that's kind of taken us all with them. If you remember when Sirius and XM first came out and they started advertising XM radio, I think they were the first ones to do it before Sirius and XM blended. All they advertised on television was XM, beyond AM, beyond FM. I don't know if most people knew what that meant at that time.
I did.
But as the industry has evolved and developed, I think we all kind of get it now, so that when that connected car becomes available to us, it's going to be very intuitive, and it'll make it very easy to find your favorite show, whether that show resides on a website somewhere or on a radio station.
I tell you, I'm almost overwhelmed, but luckily I feel pretty confident about stepping up my game a little bit, and that's why I feel very drawn and very called to extend a hand out to some other people, because I talk to some people and it just seems like there's so many things happening so fast that there's a real need for some basic step-by-step training. So what do you think? What action steps would you suggest for someone who really wants to start a show but doesn't know where to start? Where do you think that podcast beginners should start with step one?
Well, I think you want to begin with the end in mind. And right now for audio on demand, the end in mind is mass distribution, and I think primarily that's going to be driven by the connected car. So you're going to want to make sure that you have a program that is informative, that you are utilizing the right production values, and to get there with that, you'll need some help on putting together music where appropriate. What subject should you be covering? What kinds of equipment will you need to be able to put this podcast together, and what kind of marketing? And I think it all should be driven by that end in mind, making sure you check off the boxes on all of the things that I just mentioned. And when it's all said and done, being able to wrap it up, put a bow on it with a product that is informative, easy to remember, and easy to find on a digital distribution platform.
Thank you, Keith. I really appreciate your input today. I think podcasting is really here to stay. Do you?
I agree. Yes.
All right. You're listening to Learn to Podcast for Profit with Teresa Maron, and I'm here with guest Keith Rupnick of RadioLinx Broadcast Marketing. And we'll be right back. Hi there, I'm Teresa Maron, and I'm the Learn To Queen. Join me and my guest expert collaboration partners for an inside look at the problem-solving industry. We want to help you so that you can help others.